So in today's episode, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take this humunga dunga wunga of a terrestrial orchid right here that is so huge that it is almost 3 feet tall. Now this is a ground growing orchid known as the Phais Tankervilleae, also known as the swamp lily orchid or the nun's orchid. And this is an orchid, again, that gets rather large, and as a matter of fact, when it begins to grow its inflorescences or its spike, it can actually grow up to about 5 or more feet tall. So indeed, if you want to grow this orchid, you're going to have to make sure you have enough room to do just that. Now, I have had this plant for a good 3 years now, and when I actually originally got it, it was already huge in size, and it was also very congested in its pot. And what I did notice is that every year it would decline in the amount of spikes that it would give. The first year, I think I got about 6 or 7. The following year, I think maybe about 4 or 5. And then last year, it gave me, I want to say, about 3 spikes. So indeed, it just needs a brand new, fresh start. So that's what we're going to do today. So the media that we're going to be using in this repotting project is a mixture of 50-50. We have used your regular garden or potting soil mixture, and then we've also combined it with 50% of your bark mixture as well. This is a bark combination that has bark, perlite, and also coal, and that's really going to allow this soil-based mixture to have good aeration to prevent sogginess and wetness that could actually promote root rotting in the orchid. So this is a great soil-based media for a project such as this. Okay, and here we are. First things first, we're going to go ahead and work this actual plant right outside of the pot, and we're going to do that by gently pushing down onto the pot just to allow the actual media to loosen up around the pot, and then it'll make it so much simpler to actually take out the orchid. Voila, that easy, folks. And if we take a look, oh my goodness, look at those roots. And that, my friend, is just evidence of years and years of growing in that pot. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and knead the media and also the roots where we can untangle and separate these bulbs or these tubers out. And once we do that, you can see it's really quite simple. They just remove very, very easy. There's no knife needed. If you need to just go ahead and part them a little bit, just like that. You want to get at least 3 bulbs on each one to have a healthy enough plant, such as this. And it was so incredibly easy to part these divisions right here. We didn't need to use a knife or any type of cutting tool at all, just our hands. And now that they're separated and also parted, we want to make sure that we remove any type of desiccation, any type of rotting of tubers, and it's just a simple pulling apart, just like we did with the division. Just like that, and we just pull and rip, and it's a done deal right there. And as you can see, that's the healthy portion. And then we'll go ahead and go throughout here as well, looking for the dead or desiccated rotting bulbs and just simply removing them. And we'll also go throughout and just remove any debris or waste matter throughout the plant, just to have the plant a little bit cleaner as well. And our very next step is to go ahead and spray them down with water. And we're just cleaning them off. Again, this is a fresh new start for these guys. Okay, so now that they're all cleaned off and we can get a better look at their tubers or bulbs, whatever you want to call them, they are considered tubers, but a portion of them actually extend out of their media as well, and they do resemble bulbs also. So tubers or bulbs, whatever you want to call them, but they do grow as tubers underneath the ground, where you see they grow to the side. But the interesting thing about this orchid as well is the fact that, take a look right here, this is a tuber, and this actually extends outside of the media, and you can see on top of this tuber it has actually grown another tuber right there. And on this tuber you're seeing extensions right here, new growth, and those will also become tubers as well. Again, I just thought that was very fascinating in the fact that it can grow in different ways. Definitely has a unique growth habit, whether it be underground or above the surface. It can create new growths and more extensions of the plant. Okay, and here we are. We're going to go ahead and partially fill this pot here. We're not going to fill it all the way to the top, maybe a little bit more than half right there. I think that's good enough. And then we're going to go ahead and put our little plants right in there. And in this particular one, I'm using 2 sets of these bulbs or tubers, and I'm going to go ahead and just put them right in there, just like that. And I didn't cut any of the roots. I'm using the roots to really anchor them down into the pot. There you go. And I'm going to also put this one in here as well. Kind of just putting them in there. I'm not going to really mash them down too tight because I want them to just really be able to fill up this pot nicely without any problems. So as you can see, I'm just filling up the pot now and making sure that they stay part way above the surface. I don't want the entire plant in the actual media because I don't want the top portions of the bulbs rotting out. So similar to a cymbidium in the way that it would grow. Just like that, with majority of it in the ground, but again, the top portion able to really sit above. And there you go. And that's it for this guy. And then I have a second pot we're going to do, and then that'll be it. That's simple, guys. Okay, and here they are, freshly potted right here. And one now become 2. And as you can see, I used a pretty big pot with a lot of depth. As I've shown you, the roots really get very extensive and really can take over the entire pot. So in this way, they do have room to grow. And as you know, they do clump up. They have a lot of growth that grow from the sides or from the top, and they can get rather big rather quickly. So you do want enough space to be able to contain these gorgeous and very huge plants. Also, these orchids are actually known to grow within landscaping as well. So definitely it is a hardy plant and it can tolerate pretty cold conditions. Now, of course, if the soil becomes frozen in your area, you may not want to risk it. But if you have frosty conditions, they can tolerate some frost. So you may have an opportunity to grow these right into your landscape. And indeed, here in Florida, I can do that as well. But I just rather keep them separated in these pots. And there you have it, folks. That is a complete propagation and repotting of these ground growing orchids wrap. I thank you guys so much for tuning into yet another episode, and I hope you did learn something new from this video, and I hope you guys also liked it. If you did, please be sure to like, share, and also subscribe, and be sure to turn your notification bell button on so you will know exactly when I post a new video. And if you haven't already, join me on Facebook as well at My Orchid Adventures. I do thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I do love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. I will see you guys later, and I will also grow with you guys later as well. Bye bye for now. Mwah.